Sunday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern here on BeyondRingside.com. Join us for the Midnight Black Mass. Myself, the Reverend Dan Wilson, brings you the dark gospel of professional wrestling, uncensored, unedited, uncut, and not for the faint of heart. You can find out more about us at youtube.com/pottyhumor or subscribe at Potty Humor on iTunes and Stitcher today.
Forget all you know about podcasts. We welcome you to an experience uniquely different. Please join us for our coverage of all entertainment on the fringe of society. The candles are lit, the lights are down low. It is now time to welcome our host as he steps up to the pulpit. The sacrifice has been prepared for the midnight black mass.
Ghastly greetings, groovy ghoulies, and welcome to another edition of the Midnight Black Mass. It is I, your host, the devil you know, the maniacal minister of the occult, the Reverend the Dragon, Dan Wilson, and alongside me, ladies and gentlemen, the Southeastern Strangler, Andrew Alexander. Welcome, my friend. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
This is fucking fantastic. The season has turned. What's your name? Who's your daddy? Is he spooky like me? Because it is now autumn and it's my favorite time of the year. It's better than Christmas and my birthday combined, and I'm already sinking my teeth into it.
Yeah, I'm definitely I've become more of an autumn fan as I get older. I mean, I always kind of liked it, but used to you just think summer, but fuck, man, those summers get hot. Hotter than hell.
You know she's going to leave you well done, and this summer certainly did. It was a hot one here in Tennessee, and spent some vacation time in Florida, and it was even hotter down there, which is what you want for the summer, but it happened, and I'm over it. And the Halloween countdown is on. I've fully indulged into a cacophony of horror surrounding me, and it's a wonderful thing. Of course, been active with some wrestling. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but I have just indulged in so much awesome stuff already, like a week in to the fall, getting ready for Halloween, that I'm really excited about talking about it.
Well, let's talk about that shit, because I mean, I know you do love the Halloween. It's like your favorite holiday of the year. You turn into like a little child. I've not been able to maintain that level of excitement for the Halloween season. I really didn't have that level of excitement as a kid. I mean, I definitely liked it. I like free candy and shit, but I even stopped dressing up like at a really young age. I don't know why. I enjoy it, just not as much as a hardcore devoted fan such as yourself.
Because the light in your inner child's eyes is dying. You have let modern culture strangulate it. And now it's gasping for air, and it wants to have fun, but you don't want to let it. So you need to let it this year, Andrew Alexander. Because...
that motherfucker's dead. There ain't no gasping. I Southeastern strangled his ass.
Fair enough.
Hey,
well, I'll try to...
They're making a new Phantasm movie.
They are. Phantasm Ravager, the tall man's last appearance. Of course, the legendary Angus Scrim passed away just this past year, and so it was his final appearance. I got to meet him just a few years ago at a con, in Chattanooga. It was pretty awesome, and I mean, he looked like they pulled him out of a coffin then to prop him up. So I was surprised he made it 5 more years, but he was a really sweet dude. Like, he was so cool, and the Phantasm is one of my all-time favorite horror movies. And you know, it may be blasphemous to admit this because I've seen so much. I've never sat down and watched any of the Phantasm sequels.
Really? You just seen the first one?
Just I thought it was so perfect that I thought, oh, the sequels are bound to suck, so I'm never going to check them out. But as I have delved further into Phantasm fanboyism, I have found, of course, that Don Coscarelli was involved in pretty much all of them. And, you know, so it's not like some studio just got a hold of it and was churning out dog shit remake or sequel after the other. It was actually the original creator and director that had his hands on it all the way through. So it is an ongoing saga. So I'm very excited to dig into that. I'm saving that as I get closer to Halloween, though.
Yeah, I've only seen the first 2, and I haven't seen them since I was a kid. I remember more about the second one, part 2. But I did enjoy them. I would definitely like to get my hands on the first, I believe, 4 in preparation for this new one and just see how they are. I mean, I know those later ones, I think they were straight to video and things such as that. But I can say that's definitely an underrated series and stuff just from those first 2. I remember really liking those as a kid, and he was creepy as fuck. And you had those fucking spears, those balls flying around and shit. So it's definitely cool. I didn't know that they were making a new one, so that's kind of a cool thing. What's old is new again?
It is. It's I don't know if you saw the new episode of South Park, but they introduced member berries, which are these little. It was basically making fun of the nostalgic trends going on today to distract people from all of the bullshit going on in the world. So, you know, like the episode was framed around all of the various political debates and social debates that are raging in the country right now. And so everybody was going to the store and buying member berries, which are like this little bushel of grapes. But they all have little faces and they talk. So when they pick them up, they go, "Oh, remember Chewbacca? Remember Star Wars? Remember Ghostbusters?"
Man, I'm sure it's great, and the very, very few things I've seen have been pretty funny. But I have not watched a full episode of South Park since they unveiled Cartman's mom, and I know that was like 20 years ago or some shit.
Oh God, yeah, it evolved into a totally different show, and I mean it's had a couple of really dud seasons over the last several, but they've certainly they've picked it up over the last couple of years because, well, there's a lot to make fun of right now, and so they've really been on it. But yeah, so the Phantasm Ravager is very much a throwback. But I tell you, the thing that sold me on that in the trailer, I don't know if you've watched it, but one of the fucking Phantasm spears comes and fucking shoots a laser into a building, and like it's like a giant, it's like the size of a spaceship. And it like cuts a building, like a fucking skyscraper, in half with the laser beam. So I was like, yeah, that's pretty dope. I checked it out when I saw that they were making that. I wanted to see that. When is I guess the Friday the 13th a new reboot? That's next year, right? That's like February. Yeah, I think it even got bumped to the summer now.
Oh well, shit! They should just hold out for next Halloween season, but that'll be cool. I know a lot of people are shitting on that, but these remakes, man, I don't think, even if they suck, that's a bummer. You don't watch it or whatever. But when people get upset that they do it, I don't get that, because, maybe it'll be good, and maybe it'll be something new and different and fresh, and you can enjoy it. Plus, I think it gets a whole younger, new generation's eyes on stuff.
No, I think really, I think the only thing with remakes is that it's like, it's going to be hard to touch the original. Like, I would like to see a remake franchise that really catch on and grasp the imagination for a new generation. I don't think many have done that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I agree. But a lot of them just haven't worked to just kind of get things going completely. Like, even if they have a good first one, such as Halloween, they get to the second one, such as Halloween 2, and it is absolute horrible. I got into that movie for free because I was so late. I got in there for free on opening night, and I still felt ripped off. That movie was such a piece of shit. But Halloween 1, the first Halloween was really good. But I just think there's a lot of new people, a lot of kids, or a lot of teenagers that this will be their first experience. They see Halloween. These are older movies they've redone, and they go back and watch them. And either they love them and they're like, oh, these are awesome, these are so much better than the remake, or they hate them, they don't get into it, which is cool. But I just think it's good. I just think it keeps stuff alive.
One property I think that may have the opportunity to do that is coming out soon. I believe it's 2017 release as well. The Stephen King's It is being remade into a feature-length movie. And, of course, that was not a movie. It was a made-for-TV television series. Let that wrap around in your head, okay? This movie still gives people nightmares. People still are terrified of Pennywise from the masterful portrayal of Tim Curry, of course. The movie was a fucking made-for-TV movie that aired on CBS, I believe, in the 80s. Like,
yeah, early 90s.
No, it was the late 80s. It was like 88, I think, 88 or 89. But it was, I mean, you have, like, no boobs, no cussing, minimal blood. Still one of the most horrifying things ever done, because storytelling is key, always.
Yeah, I remember not being scared. I wasn't scared of a lot of the horror movies as a kid. I just wasn't. I would jump on the scares that were obviously that's what they were there for, the surprises. But as far as having nightmares or being afraid and shit like that, I really wasn't scared. I was scared of The Exorcist. That freaked me out real bad. Aside from that, it didn't really work. And even back then with It, but I rewatched it as an adult, and I didn't love it. I did think that Tim Curry did a great job, and I get that he's creepy, but I was like, man, I don't see how this terrified people. But there's a huge majority of people that are terrified of clowns, and I'm just not one of them. That's not creepy to me, but there's lots of people I know that are just horrified of them, and that's so weird to me. But, and I think it's probably a lot to do with that movie, especially people in our generation. That's probably why they're terrified of them. But it is cool they're doing a remake. I don't know how, I don't even know who's playing Pennywise, but Tim Curry, he's cool, man. He's got some roles under his belt that I really enjoy.
I could be wrong, but I believe it is the kid that is playing the alleged Joker in Gotham.
An upcoming alleged Joker, or the kid that...
No, the last one that we saw in season 2.
Oh, that kid's good.
That's what I've heard, so...
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's on Shameless, which I've recently knocked those out. That's a pretty damn good show.
Yeah. I've only saw like the first season and a half of it, but I enjoyed what I saw of it. So speaking of clowns terrifying people, what do you make of the latest hysteria going on here in the southern United States that bands of evil clowns are hiding out in the woods, trying to lure young children to their doom.
That's, I want to say hilarious, but I guess that's not the right word to use. But it's just fucking crazy and stupid, and it's so funny that I wasn't at home when this happened, but I received a message, and somebody said, "Hey," and it was 100% real. Someone said, "Hey, a clown was spotted in blank subdivision." I say blank because it's my subdivision, and I don't want people to know where my subdivision is. But there was a clown in my subdivision, and it was like a big deal. People were freaking out. It was real. It happened. So I just replied back, "How do you know it's not me?" And just left that hanging there. But that's I could have been abducted by one of these clown people.
Yeah, there's been some sightings, and initially I was like, well, it's bullshit because A, it's the South, and nobody's found any shot-up clown bodies. Because, as I said on Twitter earlier in the week, even the Democrats are packing heat down here, okay? This is the Mason-Dixon line. Everybody's got a gun. That's just the way it is. They're issued to you typically as a birthday present, as some sort of coming-of-age ritual if you grow up down here, no matter what side of the political fence your parents lean. So the fact that no clowns have been shot by some good old boys led me to believe it was bullshit, unless they're magic ghost clowns. And if that's the case, then maybe they can disappear at will, and maybe the guns can't get them. Or what if they're killer clowns from outer space?
That's what I'm going with. And they're putting people in fucking cotton candy cocoons.
Cotton candy cocoons.
Man, that's a fun movie. I mean, looking back, it's kind of a piece of shit, but it's such a good piece of shit.
Oh, it's the best tasting piece of shit on the plate, man. I love that movie.
Yeah, it's one of those that it is bad, but you enjoy it you love it. That's a good one.
Did you kind of get sad for the old man at the beginning when they kill his fucking dog and then they kill him? I remember thinking that was real fucked up as a kid. Like, oh, why'd you gonna do that? Like, they got that heat right at the beginning. Because you're like, fuck. They're gonna off an old man and his dog.
I wish we would have had Tank on the show if we were gonna break into a bunch of horror movie talk.
Well, maybe we can have a more official discussion with him on the show next week. Because this will be a recurring theme until Halloween. And if you don't like it, why did you tune in to the podcast named after a satanic ritual?
I watched my Nightmare on Elm Street documentary this past week. Have you ever seen that? Never Sleep Again?
Yes.
Oh, it's amazing. It's like 4 hours. It's great. And I just keep hearing rumblings that they're going to do that again with Robert Englund as Freddy. And I would love to have another one of those come out, man.
He's sworn he's never going to do it again. A rumor comes out at least once every 6 months that Robert Englund confirmed for next Nightmare on Elm Street, and then he has to come out and say, I'm not confirmed, I didn't do it. So maybe we'll see it again. He's still alive, and so if he's still alive, then my philosophy is never say never, because money talks. And what walks, ladies and gentlemen? Bullshit. That's right.
Bullshit.
So, you could very well see Robert Englund as Fast Eddie, or as Fast Eddie Lane.
Hey, there you go.
As Freddy Krueger.
Some bitch.
Or maybe he'll play Fast Eddie in a biopic.
Dude.
1, 2, Fast Eddie's coming for you.
That would
Fast
be.
Eddie Lane, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Extraordinarily.
You can tell we're having a good old time tonight on the Midnight Black Mass.
Extraordinarily humbled for that crossover reference. Yeah, Robert Englund wants to play me. I'll sit back and bow any day of the week. It's like, dude, your interpretation is my interpretation.
So before we get... Oh, go ahead, Andrew.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the rumors to get started that Fast Eddie is a child molester / child killer that attacks you in the dream.
You haven't seen the action figures, have you?
So before we get too far off the topic, I do have to ask, Fast Eddie Lane, what's your take on this evil clown phenomenon?
People need something to do with their free time, and obviously they're not just smoking enough really good weed to catch a good glimpse of reality. And yes, I do believe decriminalize it, legalize it as I hold up the peace sign. People have gone, some individuals have gone off the frickin' deep end, and they're looking for an abstract 5 minutes of fame or 15 minutes of fame, depending on who's covering it. And because there are those that will sit back and go under a mask or under makeup or something of that ilk to where their primary facial features are obstructed, and they will see if the news will cover or try to pin a nickname on us. They gave me a nickname. I'm cool. I'm kosher. I'm wanted by the police. Cool and kosher doesn't mean you're wanted by the police. Stupid means you're wanted by the police.
Hot takes from Fast Eddie Lane, ladies and gentlemen, on the killer clown epidemic sweeping the southeast. I'm just picking them off at the tree line. There's so many.
But we need to make a jingle. He's got to have a segment. I mean, I'm sure he's on 17 podcasts, so someone can do it, where they have the jingle. 1, 2, Fast Eddie's coming for you.
Fast Eddie will have it done and uploaded by the next show.
We'll see what happens. Digging it.
So, yeah, the horror stuff has been great. There's a bunch of great movies I've seen that I really want to talk about, but I guess we'll address some wrestling stuff because it is a wrestling podcast.
Do me a favor, if I could. Do me a favor. Okay, I'm 50, and I know the two of y'all are significantly younger than I am. But when it comes to some of the new remakes that are being done, and remember stuff that you see done back in the 70s and the 80s, you didn't have CGI, or at least not a ton of it. You had overlays, you had creative masking and dodging, you had artists who knew how to handle light, or the absence thereof, in order to achieve the effect that they wanted. When you start seeing some of these newer remakes come down the pike, regardless of the genre, but especially in horror, and you're knowing in your heart that they're doing computer-generated imaging and everything, a lot of stuff is being done digitally as opposed to through creativity and imagination, does it cheapen the experience for you, or is there a flip side of that coin? Dan?
It takes me out of the...
Dan, let me go first, because Dan is a much more educated opinion here, because this is his shtick. So let me throw mine real quick, and then he can go, because I'm sure he'll have better insight. Like I said earlier, I really don't mind it. And I think there's two hardcore fans. There's the kind that go in and they want to be entertained and enjoy something, and there's the kind that want to go in and shit all over everything. I'm easy to please. I'm a filthy whore. Just give me something and I'll probably like it. Just don't make it horrible. So I think it gives you more of appreciation for the older stuff that they couldn't do as much. It makes you think, wow, how did they pull that off on a $50 budget?
Right.
No computers. It really makes you think, man, what people do now is absolutely amazing, but what people did back then is fucking amazing too.
Right.
It's just different. Times have changed, stuff's different now. You gotta accept that. So I think it's cool, but it doesn't. I don't think it ever takes away from what they did in originals.
Okay.
It's a valid point. My opinion on it is I agree with you in part, or in mostly, actually. I'm fine with it in most cases. It just, as long as it doesn't take me out of the moment, and sometimes it does. That's the thing with it. If it looks real, then, even though I know in the back of my mind it's CG, then I'm okay with it. But if it clearly is like forced in CG and you know it, and it just kind of takes you out of the whole, like that's the one thing that the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, like, I didn't care for some of the CG in it. Otherwise, I didn't. Like, most people hated it, but I thought it was fine. It was not anything that shook the world or was ever gonna replace the original, but it's a re-entire, like, I'm a comic fan. I know about Elseworlds and the multiverse, so I'm fine with another presentation of something like that. That's totally cool. But like the one thing, and with the Walking Dead TV show, because I understand the kind of budget they're on, like, I'm a little more forgiving of it there than I am in multi-million-dollar movies. I fucking hate CGI blood. Give me the real stuff. Give me the real stuff all day long. And I'm not talking like actual blood, some fucking corn syrup that's red is fine, but it needs to look like blood.
Right.
It's just something about CG blood that just doesn't look the same. It doesn't. I mean, the splatter patterns and shit might be more accurate. They're like, oh, well, we fucking examined this with forensic evidence, and so you can see with the computer exactly how it would spatter. Maybe, but I don't care. I would rather just see a giant bucket of blood. A show that does a really great with a mix of CG and special effects. Probably my new favorite show, and I'm going to tell all of our Midnight Black Mass followers out there, all the members of the congregation, if you're a horror fan and you haven't checked this out, particularly if you're a fan of the original series, Ash versus the Evil Dead on Starz is the most fucking fun you can have in 30 minutes outside of cocaine fueled orgy. I'm telling you, it's a great blend of practical and CG. The CG's there for things that the practical just can't do. But when it comes to blood, when it comes to the real visceral gory shit, like, it's all practical effects, and it's fucking magic. And Bruce Campbell is gold, as he's always been gold. As Ash, he's still kicking that character's ass 30 years later. So if you haven't checked that out, absolutely do. But my whole deal with it is, like I said, don't take me out of the moment. Don't make me question the suspension of disbelief, and I'm fine with the CG, but deep down I do prefer the practical effects. I'm not trying to take away, like, okay, yes, there was not another Tom's, well, there is in Greg Nicotero from The Walking Dead and some other guys too, but Tom Savini, Rick Baker, those types of guys, like, they're not as in demand now because you've got guys doing the CG. But hey, who's to say the guys doing the CG aren't as talented as those guys just at doing what they do? But to me, the practical effects will always have a special place.
And like two real quick things to add to that. I think one thing I hate about CG is when it's something that you could definitely achieve with some practical effects, like the blood he mentioned. But there's a lot of times they do stuff with it where you're like, you could have done this very realistically, but you didn't. So that kind of sucks. And going to the Nightmare on Elm Street, that was going to be my favorite example, just because I'm a Fred head. The iconic scene in the original where, towards the beginning where Nancy's in bed and Freddy's head comes out of the wall. I mean, we know what I'm talking about, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, of course. His head comes out of the wall and then it goes back in. Well, they redo that in the remake, and it's CGI'd like a motherfucker, and he all's like wrapping around and looking and all this stuff. And it is not one millionth as good or effective or creepy as that first one, which I know the secret to what they did, as probably, Dan, you may both know. They just took black solid spandex, which was new at the time, and they stretched it out, and they had someone just press through like that, and they achieved that awesome, amazing shot with a sheet of black spandex. So that's like a great example of a case when real was much better than CGI.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with that. That is one of the iconic scenes in horror, and it just couldn't be replicated with the CG. So, you know, there's things, and there's a movement in the horror community to focus on that. And, you know, there are guys that try to minimalize it. Rob Zombie is one of those directors. I just recently caught his new flick, 31. Really enjoyed that. Thought it was a real true-to-form return for Rob Zombie. Have you heard anything about this?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Yeah, so it's, I mean, he's very much like sticking to his wheelhouse here. You know, it was kind of the Member Berries version of Devil's Rejects to a degree, because it was like, oh, you like the gory 70s style horror movie, you like the period soundtrack from the 70s, you like Sherry Moon. He's fucking, you know, it was very much like, it almost felt like it could have been in the same universe as Devil's Rejects, but if you're a fan of those Rob Zombie movies, you definitely like this one.
Let me ask you. I know we want to talk a little bit about wrestling. What went wrong with that second Halloween?
The second Halloween movie? Oh man, I don't know. I think he kind of went off the rails. Like he's definitely like let me get this out here right now. I'm a huge fan of Sherry Moon Zombie. I think she's awesome. I think she's a brilliant actress. You know, she's very good for what she does. And she's smoking hot, and she's just tremendous in so many ways. But he definitely pushes her down people's throats a bit in his movies. And there's movies where she works, and then there's some where she doesn't. And so basically adding all of that dream sequence shit where, like, he was seeing little Michael and his mom, like, that just totally derailed the third act of the movie, I think is what really killed that. Because it was really fine up until then, and then it just became a giant fucking mess. I mean, yeah, that movie sucked as a whole as a result. I mean, I will say it does have one of the greatest kills in a Halloween movie in it, when he stomps that dude's head into hamburger meat in the strip club parking lot. Now, that was pretty awesome. But overall, say what?
No, that's by far my favorite scene, and that's like the only thing I took from that movie that I enjoyed. That was amazing.
But yeah, it's like he took his universe and just like when it was just a direction people didn't want to see. They didn't want that out of Michael Myers. The first one was great. Like, I'm with you. People hate it, but I fucking loved it. I thought it was a great take on it. Again, it doesn't replace John Carpenter's. It doesn't replace, but I mean, it was probably the second or third best of the whole series if you're just taking them as standalone movies.
Oh, it was. Would you say that's the best remake? I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I enjoyed the Texas Chainsaw remake. I know that's probably about 10 to 12 years now, but I enjoyed that.
Oh, I hated that one.
Did you hate it?
Yeah, the one with Jessica Biel. Oh.
Well, I love Jessica Biel for some reason. She's hot. But I mean, I don't know. I liked it. I liked it more than the Nightmare remake. I enjoyed the Nightmare remake. I kind of dug that one more. But Halloween, I definitely liked more. But why did you hate the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake?
Because they just turned Leatherface into Jason, and he was just like a stalking killer that chases you around in the dark, and you hide from him, and he gets you. And like they totally missed the dynamic of it, which like some of the other remakes, like the little prequel they did to the remake, was actually really good. I like that one.
I never saw it.
And then the most recent remake, just the one that was just Texas Chainsaw, that had Alexandra Daddario, And it, oh man, that one was awesome. I really dug the shit out of that one. But the first Texas Chainsaw remake with Jessica Biel, I thought was shit. It just didn't, like, to me, Leatherface is only part of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, that's where they got it wrong. Like, that was just about Leatherface, basically. Like, the family was there, but they were rather inconsequential. Like, it's about his whole crazy, fucked up family. Like, you gotta have the hitchhiker, and you gotta have Drayton Sawyer, and you gotta have Grandpa, and you know, Leatherface is almost a sympathetic character in the context of that, because he's, you know, just a mentally disabled person who's living with all these crazy lunatics, and, you know, they push him sort of into his madness and his cannibalism. So it's, yeah, I didn't think that it captured what Texas Chainsaw was all about.
I mean, I see what you're saying there. I think I just enjoyed it. It had some good kills. I thought it looked kind of cool, like it looked old, but with that new touch. I enjoyed it. I didn't see any of the other remakes.
I like the way it was shot and like the way it looked. I mean, it was a good looking movie, but it just, like I said, I thought it missed the point. I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, for example, the original sequel, is a wildly different movie than the first one. You know, almost has some comedy moments in it at times, but still a fantastic fucking movie. Still kept the spirit of what it was about. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, even, which had that terrible / awesome song from Laz Rockets. Do you remember that?
No, I honestly don't think I've seen 3.
Oh man, 3's pretty good.
Honestly, I probably like 2 more than the original, to be honest with you. Just as far as enjoying it, I just dig it. But I don't think I've seen 3.
3's pretty good. It's just called Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw 3 Leatherface, and it's the one on the video cover where it says the saw its family on the chainsaw. And you know, it's just like a straight to DVD. Like, some people get lost in the fucking Texas town, and the Leatherface family fucks them up. You know, it's pretty standard shit, but it's pretty enjoyable. I really hated the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What was it? I can't remember what it was. The fourth one with Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger. That one sucked donkey balls.
Yeah, I remember seeing part of it and being like, what the fuck is this? I didn't even finish it. No, and I remember the third one, the video cassette for sure, but I just don't recall ever watching it. I need to get my hands on that.
Yeah, it's like Leatherface is a cross-dresser in that one, and like they really, and Matthew McConaughey is part of the crazy family, and Renee Zellweger is one of the victims, and it's just, it's dumb. It's real dumb. But yeah, gonna get to see Leatherface here at Halloween Horror Nights coming up in a few weeks. They got a Texas Chainsaw Massacre house this year. Also got an Exorcist house. Speaking of the Exorcist, did you watch the first episode of the new Exorcist TV series on Fox?
No, I didn't. I'm sure I'll be able to see that on my Hulu Plus. Should I check that out? Is it good?
Yeah, I really dug it. Like, they really got something there. If they keep you, like, nothing much happened in the first episode, but it didn't have to. Like, they really set the tone great. And you know, if they keep that up, that's going to be a hell of a show. Excuse me, a hell of a show.
Okay, yeah, I'll check that out. I was just brainstorming when I was watching that Nightmare doc. The TV shows are so epic nowadays. I think they could do a Nightmare on Elm Street TV show and make it badass, and maybe even have season 1 be Freddy as a man, killing kids, all this shit, the court case, build it up, and do it right. Because I mean, these TV shows are awesome, man. They got some good people working on this shit. And then the finale, he gets burnt, and then boom, season 2, he's fucking Freddy. I'm just spitting shit out here. We don't know anybody that can hook us up with some Hollywood execs, but I think that'd be a badass show.
Man, I think everything should be a TV show. You just get so much more out of the long-form storytelling. And there's so many great horror TV shows out now, like Penny Dreadful, which is on Netflix now. You can check it out. It was 3 seasons on Showtime. Some like a tribute to the Gothic era of horror. You get some Victor Frankenstein action, some Dorian Gray, and a whole lot more like cool stuff of like the classic monster era, basically. But it was a modern show, and Eva Green is top notch in that. And so, yeah, definitely should check out Penny Dreadful, Ash vs. the Evil Dead, as I mentioned, American Horror Story. It's very popular. It certainly has people sort of in two camps, the people that just love it and the people that hate it. But I have just grown to love that show unabashedly. Is one of my favorite shows. It is always so insane. It always takes you on so many twists and turns. And really excited to get into this new one where it's sort of a mock reality series, which is a new take on that show.
Yeah, that's one. I think that's one when it's all said and done. Maybe I'll watch it all because I checked out the first, and I know the seasons change. I didn't like it at first. I did not get into it, so I just pushed it aside. And I heard it's gotten better, and there's good stuff, and it changes every season. But maybe when that's one. I do enjoy also watching shows where you don't have to wait week to week. I get to run through them, and everything's fresh to me and shit. So I like doing that sometimes. So I did.
American Horror Story is better, actually. I would recommend it's better to watch binge because there's so many little details that you'll forget or shit you won't pick up on if you watch it week to week. Like they really go for the fine details on that show. So yeah, binge watching it is recommended.
Yeah, so maybe when that's all said and done. But so what do you say? Let's talk about some wrestling.
Well, I have been busy with my administrative duties with Why We Wrestle in Cornelia, Georgia. Just had a big event this past Saturday night where Gunnar Miller successfully retained the Why We Wrestle Triple Crown Championship against the 5-star King, Anthony Henry, en route to Fright Night 2016, occurring October 22nd at the Church of Southern Wrestling, when Strychnine will cash in his rematch clause, being the former champion, to get one more shot at Gunnar Miller and get the shot at getting his title back. This is a matchup that fans are eager to see, especially with Strychnine being fully healthy going into this matchup, which he exactly was not going into the match where he lost the title, thanks to one Gunnar Miller and Jeff G. Bailey, who had perpetrated an attack on him earlier that night. So Strychnine's going to get his revenge, and we now know it will be Gunnar Miller defending the title, not Anthony Henry, who had a hell of a fight. One of the top prospects in the country right now, in my opinion. That guy, the sky's the limit for that guy. That's a guy I've watched mature over the years. I'll come out and say it. I didn't fucking like him at all when I first met him. And he's grown to be a guy I like and respect greatly. And, he's just matured in the business, both in the ring and out. And he's a bit of an asshole sometimes, but sometimes you got to be to succeed in this business.
Wait, who did you not like?
Anthony Henry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that. He's not your type of guy. I got confused, but I was like, okay, yeah, Anthony Henry, I could totally see that. Yeah,
I've known that kid for like 12 years or more, so it's like I'm talking about a long stretch of time here.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I could see how people don't like him. I totally understand how people would get that vibe, but shit, that happens to me. That happens to you. Me more so than you, but I get that. But he's good people. He's a man. He's turned into a badass worker. He's worked hard and he stayed focused on his goals. And he's that's all three guys you just mentioned: Strychnine, Gunnar Miller, Anthony Henry. That's some talented motherfuckers right there. I wouldn't be surprised. You never know, and they definitely like to use a lot of the international talent. But I'd like to see Anthony Henry in that Cruiserweight Classic next year.
He would fit right in.
I think so. At least give him a shot. We'll see. That's a long ways away.
Yeah, but anyway, he's hell of a talent, put up a hell of a fight. Gunnar Miller was the better man that night, so Gunnar goes on to Fright Night Also signed for Fright Night, the Battle of Gods and Monsters. The warlord of wrestling, Odinson of Asgard, is going to be taking on Cyrus the Destroyer of the Southern Bastards crew. What a monster fight that's going to be.
Is this hyped as the Battle of Gods and Monsters? Is that a thing?
Yes. That's what I just said.
Damn it. God damn it. I had that idea.
So use it.
Well, I didn't get to it. I can explain why when we're off the air, but I didn't get to. And I'm assuming I got it from the same place you got it. But we don't have to mention that. We won't divulge all of our secrets. Me and you have similar influences on stuff sometimes.
Yes,
but that's a great idea. I love the fucking sound of it. That sounds badass. If you want to see two big motherfuckers kill each other,
well, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So that's already signed. Also going to crown the first While We Wrestle Women's Champion, already qualifying for that match. Going to be a 4-way elimination. So Nina Monet and Dementia DeRose have qualified. Aja Pereira had qualified, but Dementia had attacked her the previous week, and I guess Dementia got exactly what she wanted because Aja didn't want to wait for her to get a match with her. She put her spot in the title match on the line just to get in the ring with Dementia. And Dementia, with the Carpenter and that baseball bat, ended up sneaking away with the victory. So 2 more spots left to fill. Those will be filled on October the 8th. And, of course, we've got the big girl fight event coming up at Why We Wrestle on Thursday, October 20th, just 2 nights before Fright Night. The first all-women's show. You're going to see all the women stars of Why We Wrestle, plus Mickey Knuckles, Amber O'Neil Gallows, Tracy Taylor, and a whole lot more. So you definitely want to check that out. And Cornelia Wrestling returns to the church October 8th, and the final go-home show for Fright Night 2016. And what a matchup. We're going to find out who's going on to Fright Night to face the Monarchy for the Why We Wrestle Tag Team titles. 3-way elimination matchup, 3 of the best teams in the business today. The Hooligans versus the Viking War Party versus the Lynch Mob. Only one of those three teams is going to go on to Fright Night, the challenge for the tag team titles.
That sounds like a hell of a card. Fright Night sounds like it's going to be awesome.
It's certainly shaping up to be one hell of a night. Stay tuned to Why We Wrestle on social media at Twitter at WhyDoYouWrestle, Facebook.com/This Is Why We Wrestle, on Instagram at This Is Why We Wrestle. And if you want to get in touch or send a message, email at thisiswhywewrestle@gmail.com.
So, you want to talk about some WWE wrestling?
We got about 8 minutes, so we'll devote this 8 minutes to whatever you want to talk about wrestling-wise, no matter what the promotion.
I usually don't care too much to talk about wrestling in depth, but I did go on some nice rants earlier today via text message with a few people that would have made great. I could just sit here and read them on the show, and it would be good shit. But real quick, if we can get to it without going over too long, I figured out what's wrong with the wrestling business.
Oh, yeah. Well, lots of people have been trying.
It's a double-edged sword, though. The thing wrong with the wrestling business right now is, drum roll please, the wrestling fans.
Oof.
It's their fault. If you see a little bratty kid acting like a Bark at the Moon hellion, you hate that kid. You're like, fuck that kid. That kid is spoiled rotten, and he needs his ass whipped because he's spoiled. That's wrestling fans. They're little bratty kids and they're spoiled. But who spoiled them? The parents. The WWE spoiled them. It's a never-ending circle that somebody's got to fucking put a stop to. Did you watch this? Did you watch the pay-per-view last night, Clash of the Champions?
Yep.
I did not.
Okay, well, I believe pretty much the matches, all really good matches. Right now, I don't care. People can bitch about there's a lot of stuff to bitch about, but the WWE has some talent. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, there's some good talent on there. And sometimes their hands are tied, and sometimes they're given some shit to work with, and they just got to make the best of it. But there's some really good guys. These guys are out there working their ass off, man. There were people last night killing themselves. You should watch the show. The matches were really good. It's really worth checking out.
I was planning on it. I just hadn't cleared out my horror queue yet, so I'll get to it.
But Sheamus and Cesaro beat the living fuck out of each other.
Yep.
I can't believe Sheamus isn't dead. You'll see. But, there was just so many matches where the crowd just sit there. They're not into it. They sit there, and then once the killing starts and the false finishes come into play and people are murdering each other, they're all for it. And this is awesome. And there was one point I really can't remember. I think it was during that Sheamus and Cesaro match. They just weren't into it at all. Then Cesaro almost dies, and it's like, this is awesome. This is awesome. It's like now guys have to kill themselves, and they have to do so much to get that live crowd into it. But it's their fault. It's their fault that we've gotten to that point. I really think guys, look, man, if I was a WWE superstar, if I was the fucking Universal Champion, I would want to work hard. I would want to steal the show. I would want to have the best match every night. But, dude, I couldn't go out there on Raw and do what these guys are doing every week. That shit should be reserved not for pay-per-views, for WrestleMania, for SummerSlam, for a big, huge blow-off to a really good angle. But these guys are doing it now every week on Raw, and I'm sure, A, it's expected, and B, they have a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure on themselves. You can't slow down. You can't take a breather. You can't take a hold. You can't work the crowd because you don't want people to change the channel. You don't want people to say, oh, this is phony wrestling, fuck this, and change the channel. I get that. But, man, these guys are killing themselves, man, for just to try to get reactions and try to keep people into it. And it sucks. It really sucks. And I bet a lot of those guys would probably agree. They're like, yeah, it does fucking suck. But that's what the WWE has kind of conditioned the fans towards. I think they got to do something and pull back. Look, the Attitude Era, hardcore wrestling, chair shots to the head, blood, all of that. It was such a big part of the show every week. But they pulled back and they just said, we're not doing this anymore. Even, and sometimes they do. And sometimes they should do a little more, especially on the blood. It'd be nice to see some color. Instead of having Brock Lesnar do hard ways and give guys concussions, that's stupid. Just let the guy gig. But they need to pull back the way they did with that stuff and make a lot of stuff mean more. A lot of the moves and the false finishes and the strikes mean a bit more and have these guys selling. So they're not out there trying to kill themselves because they are. I mean, they're working hard for them, and you got to praise them for that. But to where fans now, they know, this is a quote from someone who knows what they're fucking talking about. They know one AA isn't beating anybody. They're going to kick out. Maybe if Cena's working a very underneath guy, which he rarely does anymore, okay, he might win with the attitude adjustment. But on the big match, it doesn't matter. He's going to have to hit 2 to 3 to maybe more to get that pinfall. And there's so much stuff that's done in the match that is not going to be the finish. And people may react to it, but I really think they're reacting just to react. The same way with a lot of the chants, guys that people are seeing on TV, and they're wanting to go to the show to do that. And it's great. The crowd should be into it, but I just think they're really spoiled. Guys are killing themselves, and the crowd's not giving them anything, or they're trying to entertain themselves, chanting, CM Punk or singing songs and stuff like that during the meat of the match. And it's just a shame to see. I would hate to be in those guys' position. Not cashing the check, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough spot because it has, just not just the WWE, but just the overall business has escalated the in-ring style to a point that's what's expected now, and does it matter if nobody cares? You know, that's the thing. I'm all for the modern style because it is what it is, and they're going to change it. But overall, in a few years, I think by necessity you're going to see a change in it. And I mean, do we think that maybe it's the fact that the personalities aren't getting over like they used to, so they have to do more in the ring? Because the New Day does a lot, by comparison to guys from another era, but they do a whole lot less than most of the other guys on their roster. But they're fucking over, so they don't have to do anything.
Yeah, that is definitely something. That's definitely part of it. There's not the even guys that are good and have charisma, they don't have really defined characters so much. Everybody's character now is the best wrestler. There can't be that many best wrestlers. Like, Bret Hart was the best wrestler, and then there were other guys that had cool characters and cool shticks. And even Shawn Michaels, who was an awesome wrestler, he had, like, a character, that sexy boy, heartbreaker, heartthrob deal that he did in the 90s. Like, that was his deal. And now people don't have kind of that defined character aspect other than, I'm the best wrestler, I'm the best fighter, I'm the best. So I have to go out here and kill myself to maintain that status as the best.
Andrew.
I think that's part of it, but they got good fucking talent right now, man. They really, really do.
Andrew.
But, yes.
Question. Could some of the problem about the personality issue be the fact that they're not given time on the main roster product to cultivate and develop their character over the last few years, as opposed to down in NXT, because you are flying on the radar but still under the radar to a great degree? You have time to cultivate who you are.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. And a lot of talent that is it coming from NXT isn't given a chance, and then a lot of the talent that is kind of thrown out there immediately, and it proves that the internet wrestling community isn't as strong as the internet wrestling community thinks it is, because a lot of these NXT and these cruiserweight guys are going out there on Raw, and you see on the live crowd, they are not getting the reactions that they get at Full Sail University. But if you give them time, they can get there. It's not their talent. It's just you got to give people a chance to get to know them. You got to get common fans or casual fans or parents that really aren't fans but taking their kids that watch, and then they'll see something and go, oh, shit, this guy's good. It takes time to let that happen. And a lot of times I think guys aren't given time. They're kind of thrown out there, and you either sink or swim.
Yeah.
And there's not that process, and there's not that enhancement match, which they brought back, and I think that format's working a little bit. But there's not weeks and weeks of vignettes and hype and things such as that like there used to be. So yeah, I think that could help. And I think some of it's writing. Sometimes they do such good work with writing and production and making these shows that even though there's just a pay-per-view every other week, they put together video packages that really sell it and it feels special. But then they'll do some segment to where you just you're like, what the fuck are they doing? And I'm not talking about comedy, and I'm not talking about bad comedy. Some of that has a place, but sometimes it's so over-the-top bad. It's like, Jesus Christ, guys, what are you doing? And why should I take this guy serious? Why should I take Dolph Ziggler serious right now, feuding with The Miz, when you just showed him dressed as Colonel Sanders kicking The Miz's ass? And that, I'm sure they got paid well, and that's a good spot, but maybe two other guys should have done that, or maybe two guys that aren't doing what they're doing on the TV show should have done that. I mean, maybe. I could be wrong, but I don't know.
It's a thought, and I think something we can delve into a little bit deeper on next week's edition. It's certainly not damning them, but it's just an interesting thing to see how you would fix what's working. We're not there, so we don't know everything that's going on or involved in it. But, clearly you can see like you said, cases of guys killing themselves to no reaction, and that's unfortunate. And is it the fans' fault? I mean, I don't know. That's hard to say. Like you said, the father gave them the gun, so you've given them the gun now, they're not going to give it back. So that's basically the issue that's going on there. But we'll definitely delve into that more this week. But we're out of time, folks. It's been a hell of a fun edition of this fly by the seat of our pants edition of the Midnight Black Mass. Any final thoughts, Andrew?
No, if you're a wrestling fan out there, why don't you just try to enjoy it a little bit more, just overall. Don't shit on everything. Like, don't. And we're all comparing everything. Well, it used to be better back in the day. Yes, that's true, but those days are gone. They're not coming back. So let's try to enjoy what we have.
Absolutely. Fast Eddie Lane?
Actually, I'll disagree with that last little comment because the golden age of wrestling right now is not on Major League Television on the USA Network. It's in places like 4236 Level Grove Road in Cornelia. It's on Stemley Bridge Road in Pell City. It's on Stripling Chapel Road in Carrollton, or possibly this Saturday at the Munford Civic Center. People have the opportunity to see wrestling the way it's supposed to be, up close, intimate setting where you get a chance to see and get to know the characters. All you have to, and I'll say the same thing about Empire because I went there a couple of times and enjoyed the living hell out of it. I'd love to go back again sometime. So I'm not going to leave that out. It was an innocent omission. But people get a chance to catch real wrestling closer to them. All they have to do is look for it.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, that's true, but you got to go. You got to get out there and go to the show.
Get your ass out the house, bitches.
Yes, sir.
Well, I don't think I can close it any better than that. So on that note, I'll say for Fast Eddie Lane and Andrew Alexander, I am the Rev Dan Wilson. Keep one foot in the gutter and one fist in the gold. We'll see you next week.